What is happening, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. Your boy Thick Whips in the garage with a 340. Surprise, surprise. This thing looks so good, so clean. I'm gonna be real with you guys. It's been a long time since I've actually taken the time to polish, fully clean, ceramic an entire car. I spent all day yesterday getting this thing to the point where I'm happy with it. The car definitely arrived to me in good condition, but it wasn't quite where it needed to be. It for sure needed a paint correction. It had a lot of surface scratches. I'm gonna show you guys some of the areas that were like the most problematic for me, but we got it really, really good. I'm waiting on some touch-up paint to come in today, and then this thing is gonna be flawless. So yeah, I didn't really film any of the polishing and detail stuff just because it's been a long time since I've done any of that, and I really just wanted to focus on getting the car done and to a clean point. And I'm by no means, you know, a professional when it comes to detailing cars. So this was more of like a learning process for me, and maybe in the future when I do another car, I will show you guys like how I went about doing it, but it's pretty self-explanatory and pretty easy. I ended up buying this polisher off of Amazon and it's totally fine. And then I ended up using this stuff, which I also got on Amazon, to remove the scratches and whatnot. I went over it with two pads. One was like a thicker compound pad, and then the second one was like a finisher pad. So I basically did two passes on the entire car. The difference is incredible. Like obviously on film, you know, the car looked pretty clean, but there were a ton of little like micro abrasions and scratches. And I also did a full ceramic coating, Ceramium 5 by 5:5. I used this also on the E36 M3, made a full video on it, and I'll link that down below if you guys want to check it out. But that stuff's really good. They also have like a discount code for you guys if you want to use it. This car now is right where we need it to be. And dude, the modifications that I have coming for this car, you guys, bro, you're not ready. None of you guys are ready. I don't think I've ever been so hyped for a build. I can tell that you guys are pretty stoked too, but I am going so far with this car and I'm doing things so right. When you have the plan in your head and you can foresee what the build is going to look like, it just gets me so excited, man. Now that the parts are ordered, I'm so anxious to like get them in and just throw them on the car. So everything comes this week. Hopefully the majority of stuff comes this week, and it is gonna be crazy. So to kind of just give you guys a quick rundown, and then we'll get into the other stuff that we're doing today, which is this cowl, super common. We gotta replace this. But to kind of give you guys an idea of what I did. So I actually didn't do too much work on the front bumper. It was already in really, really good shape. I have a feeling that this front bumper was resprayed at one point, and that's why it is so clean. Because dude, let's be honest, the 2016 with 60,000 miles on it, you're going to have a lot of rock chips on the car unless the person just straight up did not drive the car, which obviously is not the case. And this thing is not PPF'd, so there's no way that this front bumper would be original paint. So it definitely was repainted at some point, which is totally fine. I have no problem with that. I probably would have done the same thing, to be honest. And it's just really, really clean. So all I did on the front bumper was decontaminate it, use some isopropyl, and ceramic coat the entire thing, as well as the headlights. Cleaned up the headlights, did a very, very light polish on the headlights, and they are in awesome condition. I mean, freaking clear. They look really, really good. Now, I'm gonna be upfront with you guys without trying to spoil too much. A lot of this stuff is coming off the car. So a lot of the factory parts that are on the car will be removed, but I did want to go ahead and just get this thing like super duper clean, because the way that I'm having everything painted when it gets in is kind of, I have a strategy for it that I think will make the most sense down the road. I did correct everything. I went over both fender, hood, doors, trim, mirror caps, roof, side skirts. So the big one for me was the side skirts. I mean, obviously it's hard to see on video. It just looks great, right? Like it just looks like a perfectly white side skirt. And if you guys look down on your side skirts right now on your car, you probably have like a lot of spots and you have a lot of like scratches from dirt getting kicked up onto these side skirts. These tires have a lot of overhang and the side skirts take the majority of the beating. Cut and polishing these side skirts made a huge difference. There were scratches all the way down this thing, little rock abrasions all over it, and they're old, so they were super dirty, and a lot of that dirt wouldn't come off with just like, you know, isopropyl and a rag or anything like that. You had to go in and actually polish them. I tried to clean up the mirror caps as best as possible. There's a couple of little nicks in there that are below the paint, but that's why I ended up getting some touch-up paint, and honestly, dude, we're not keeping these anyways. You guys know that's gonna change. All of the trim, so I hit the trim, dude. The trim had a ton of little like micro abrasions and scratches. I hit all of that, and when I go into Sensational to have them wrap my roof black, I'm gonna have them actually PPF these, and then we're gonna go ahead and PPF the headlights. I'm not gonna do PPF on the front end of the car, and you guys will figure out why later. And then I did all of the handles and like around the handles, inside of here. I made sure I wanted to get all of the little spots that most people usually miss. This was a big one, you guys. The sills. A lot of times when you open the doors and you look at like the top of the side skirt or the sills, there's a lot of like black shoe marks from people getting in and out. That stuff usually won't come off with a rag unless you like really get into it, but if you polish it, it will come right out. And this looks like insanely new. That was so satisfying, removing all of the scratches in here and just making it like nice and white and new again. Super, super satisfying. So we hit all of that all the way up, did the same thing back here, all the way through here. There were a ton of scratches up and down just from people getting in and out and hitting it. And a lot of times like dealerships won't really go that far when they're getting a car ready for sale. They'll just do like a quick cleanup because it's not really worth their time. I did have a tiny little scratch on my trim like right there, and you can sort of see how it's a little uneven. So I actually used some black touch-up paint, and these over time tend to get pretty worn out. Like on my 328, it was really bad. It was like silver all the way across, and the black was kind of fading, but this one's really good. This one's black all the way through. It looks super clean. There was just this little spot right here. So I hit that with touch-up paint. That looks really good. I did cut and polish the roof, but I didn't ceramic it because I am gonna be having the roof wrapped in black. So if you're gonna do a wrap or something like that on the car, you probably don't wanna ceramic coat it because the wrap will then have a more difficult time adhering to the roof. Another huge problematic area was right here. Like this was super beat up just from dirt and rocks and stuff. I cleaned that up. It looks really, really good. Now heading to the back, I am gonna be removing the spoiler. Yeah, I'm sure you guys know why, but I tried to get, you know, in there as close as possible. When I do remove this spoiler and do the install of the new stuff, I will do a cut and polish along the edge just to get rid of all the stuff underneath it because it's definitely gonna need it. I did a very light polish to remove surface scratches on the taillights. There were a lot of micro abrasions on the taillights. These look freaking flawless now. The rear bumper was also a area like right here. There was a lot of cake up, kind of similar to the side skirts. You get a lot of stuff kicked up right around here. And so I polished out all that, and that looks a lot better now too. The back of the car, dude, really wasn't in that bad of shape. It was kind of like the front, you know, it was pretty good condition. I didn't really have to do too much work to it. Same thing over here, hit that, sides, gas cap. I also hit like all the edges of the doors. So I would open up the doors and actually just go across the edge with the finisher pad, get it nice and clean. Door sills, super clean. Like, dude, no scratches at all. I'm telling you, that's like one of the most fulfilling parts when you guys do that. Feels great. Then hit these pillars. Again, super clean. Same thing over here, you guys. Hit all of this. Look at how freaking clean it looks, dude. So we did a good job. I did a very good job. I'm very proud of myself. I took my time, like literally took all day, you guys, and just went through it. And then you gotta decontaminate it, and then you ceramic coat it. And this thing, I'll show you guys next time I wash it, man. It's gonna be super hydrophobic and easy to wash. And that makes such a big difference when you own a car like this, man. So much easier to keep clean, and it just looks incredible. So that's enough about the cleaning stuff. Maybe in the future, I'll make another video showing you guys of me like actually doing the cut and polish and all that. Moving on to the next thing we have to do, you guys know the cowl on this car is super trashed. So this is an OEM replacement. They have gone up in price, dude. It's like $100 for this cowl. But just to show you guys, it's very common that these dry rots, mostly the rubber seal that goes up the window, definitely dry rots and starts to chip. I'll show you mine. Frickin' booty all the way through. This whole car is super clean, and then you get to that and it's like a little gross. So I am not gonna be doing like a full step-by-step video on how to do this. Why? Because I've already made one. And I watched it this morning just to make sure that it was like a decent video because it was made quite a while ago, I think in like 2019, on my first F30, and it is. It's like a straight to the punch video. It's very detailed, step-by-step. Watch that video. I'm gonna have it linked right here. Watch that video if you guys really wanna learn how to do it. But I will have this link down below if you guys need to replace yours. It's super easy, like a 15-minute job, not difficult at all. So I'm gonna set you guys up for a time lapse and fix this real quick, and then we're gonna get in the car and we're gonna go do some draggy fun with the 340. I haven't done any like draggy stuff. Just kind of want to get like some base numbers on draggy before we start doing performance stuff, which is going to happen soon. pretty obvious, right? This thing is fucking trashed, dude. Completely done. Super nasty. Look at that new stuff. It's gonna look so good. If you replace this piece on your BMW and you are not full of satisfaction afterwards, there has got to be something wrong with you. I love little things like this because it just feels so good when you look at it and it's like brand new OEM clean. So we are good. Super easy, 15 minutes. 10 out of 10 would recommend. Now we're gonna go ahead and hop in the car and let's play with some draggy. I haven't done any draggy times on this thing. I haven't done any draggy times in a long time, but I figured the car's stock, so it might be interesting like down the road to see what kind of times we improve on. Especially now that we're all-wheel drive, the launch is gonna be a lot different than the previous cars. Let's go ahead and hop in the car and go for a drive. Jesus. I lifted in the end. It's no good. 12:35 quarter mile. Still fast as shit. So 12:35 is what it was with a lift. Definitely lifted. Invalid. Oh, I was going up a slope. 1.19%. So that's why it said invalid. So you can imagine it would probably be even faster. Is that what these run stock? 12:35? Seems fast. Seems a bit fast. Bro, low-key, I think that this car has something on it. Because it's way louder than stock, dude. And I'm like pretty certain that this car has a downpipe on it. Who knows what else it has on it. But, I mean, I'm not mad about it. Like, I ordered a catless downpipe. But we might have to put this thing on jack stands when I get home and see what's underneath it. This all-wheel drive fucking slams, though. Jesus. Verified. 12.42. Stock? No way. There's no way. I gotta look up numbers. I gotta see what people are running in these cars. Dude, that all-wheel drive though is something different, man. That is something different. There's no way it's stock, dude. No way this is stock doing 1242. Bro, with a 3.35% slope. So it's got to be like a 12-second car right now. Bro, that's crazy. 12-second car? Stock? No way. No way. I'm gonna have to pull this thing apart, man. We're gonna have to take a look at this car and see what's going on. Imagine it has like a turbo on it and I don't even know. I'm baffled right now. Something is not adding up here. This is not making sense. So I went online to like look at what other people with my car were running. First of all, stock, they said they were running like a 13.6. That might have been rear-wheel drive. But here is a guy who has a 2016 340i X-Drive, same exact car as me, with agency power intake, ER downpipe, and custom E50 tune with boot mode, took his car to the strip and ran an 11.9. Yeah, he ran an 11.9 at 117 miles an hour. That's really close to what I'm running with this car right now. This car has something done to it. This car for sure has a downpipe on it, and it might have a tune on it. If the downpipe is a catless downpipe, then it absolutely has a tune on it to make sure that the check engine light for the O2 sensors don't go on. I mean, I'm not mad about it. I think that's great, but like, what? That's crazy. So if we put down a 12.4, I think the first one was like a 12.1, 12.4. Let's just say with the slope that we had, this is definitely a 12-second car. Like maybe on with a good launch, we're talking like high 11s. These cars were running 13s stock. This car is running 12s, if not 11s stock. There's no way it's stock. There's just no possible way this car is stock. I knew when I first drove this car, I was like, yo, this shit feels fast. My Supra was pretty fast too, man, but this car felt fast. All right, we're gonna get to the bottom of this right now. Okay, so it for sure has a downpipe. Very hard to tell, but yeah, 100% has an aftermarket downpipe. 99% sure it's catless. It's really hard to tell because there's like no room and it's super dark in there, but I'm gonna jack it up and go underneath it right now. Shit just has me laughing, dude. So if it's a catless downpipe, it definitely has a tune on it. Who knows what the tune is? I already have my new tune, so more than likely I'm just gonna go ahead and flash that in. I bought another catless downpipe, but now I'm like, well, why even use that one? Like if it already has one on it. I did order a rear section exhaust. So on these cars, there's a second catalytic converter and a resonator in the mid pipe. And what most people do is they just have those chopped out because it's way cheaper than like buying a whole midsection. So once the rear section gets in here, we will install the rear section. So okay, we definitely have a downpipe. Let's hop underneath the car and see if it's catless. Maybe we should look around and see if there's anything else under there. All right, so we are, the plot thickens. So we are under the car, right? This is the front. The front is up there. The downpipe is right over there. Coming across right here, where you see that welded pipe, there should be a secondary cat right there. So this is actually what I had planned on doing anyways, was just chopping that out. And because you really don't need to manipulate the midsection in these cars, it's fine. Just go ahead and chop that out, get yourself the rear section that you want, and then obviously the downpipe. So this is funny because the rear resonator is in, which I was gonna do is keep the rear resonator. The secondary cat is already gone, which I was gonna do. I was gonna chop that out anyways, so thank you for doing that. And then we already have a downpipe, and I'm like 99% certain, it's kind of tough for me to get under there, but I'm like 99% certain that it's a catless downpipe. This exhaust is literally set up how I was gonna set it up anyways. The only thing I'm gonna change is the rear section, the axle back. I'm going to do a different axle back, and that should be here shortly. I'll show you guys what I end up doing. But dude, no wonder. So this thing for sure has a tune on it, and for sure is missing both of its catalytic converters, which I'm like 99% certain is illegal to sell a car like that. I mean, at least in North Carolina, maybe not in Georgia, and this was located in Georgia. Not that I really give a fuck because, let's be honest, all my cars, I do this anyways, but that is very interesting. Okay, so I definitely don't recommend when you guys buy a car that you do it without getting a PPI or like looking underneath the car. But I kind of figured with the market and the way that these cars are, and I had already lost 2 of these. They already got bought out from underneath me, and I knew that if I didn't just like bite on this, rather than like asking them to put it on a lift and show me pictures and all that stuff, if I didn't just bite on it, I probably would have lost it. So I wasn't too concerned about it having things done to it or parts on it, because for what I do, like those kind of things don't really matter. I drastically modify these cars, so those kind of things don't really matter to me. But if you were like the average consumer, yeah, you would probably want to go like one step further and get your PPI, have them take pictures. This was a different scenario because I wasn't local and I bought the car online and I knew how the market was, and I was kind of like in a rush to get it, so I just went for it. I just took the gamble. But these things can happen, and it's interesting that they didn't tell me anything about it. Maybe they just didn't know it was a VW dealership. Pretty sure they knew. But yeah, when I first drove the car, I was like, man, this feels like a lot faster than like a stock 340. Granted, I hadn't owned a 340 up to that point, but like, dude, it felt pretty fucking quick. And I was like, this car definitely feels a lot faster than what it should. I had been driving the E36 a lot, so maybe it just felt really fast on the butt dyno. But no, I was right. My instincts were right. This thing's definitely modified. So here is the downpipe, you guys. I'm like 99% certain this is catless. I was looking up pictures to see like how you could tell the difference just by looking at photos, but I'm fairly certain this is catless. So really the only resonation is in that rear midsection and then the stock muffler on the back, which is like super sleeper setup, which I kind of dig. And that would explain a lot. That's why we're running like a 12-second quarter mile with a stock 340. So the section that you see down at the bottom, that is the like flex section for it to connect to the mid pipe. And then the downpipe section is really just like an open, I think it's like 4.5-inch tube. So like, I would assume this is catless, dude. Now, if you were like a normal consumer and you didn't want your car modified, I'd probably be like, yo, dealership, like what's the deal with this? For someone like me, it doesn't really matter because like, Obviously, I kind of go full send on these cars, but it is kind of funny, and it does bring up like a really good point that like you guys should learn from this. If you have the time, you should always get like a pre-purchase inspection, and you should always check the car out from underneath. I didn't do any of that. I just like full sent it. I saw the car, looked at the stats, and I was like, fuck it, this is what I want, let's go for it. But if you were like an average consumer and like you had to get emissions and like you didn't really know anything about the car, I mean, you could potentially fail emissions if they found that it was a catless downpipe and that you were missing your secondary cat. And you would have just been like, well, what do you mean? Like, I just bought this car from the dealership and they sold it to me, I didn't think it was modified. It could get pretty shitty pretty fast. I think I am gonna still go my route with my parts because I don't know what these parts are and I don't know what this tune is and I don't know if it's quality, and I'd rather put on my stuff and know exactly what I'm running. This could be like stage 1, it could be stage 2. Like, I have no idea right now. The one thing that this engine is lacking is the high pressure fuel pump. Obviously I have one on the way and we will do it. But I mean, this car is like already set up to be making some decent power. So I'm sure this thing was probably modified. It probably has been raced quite a few times in the past. But anyways, guys, we got some super crazy videos coming up. I'm really excited, man. Like, I just got shipment notifications on all my parts, and I know for sure you guys are going to dig this build. For sure, I'm going farther on this build than any other car that I've ever gone, and you guys are definitely not going to want to miss out. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Make sure you pick up those cowls. I don't want to see any crusty ass cowls in my Instagram feed from you guys. Make sure you pick up those new OEM cowls. It's an easy fix. It's like 15 minutes to go ahead and do it. And you know, always get a PPI. Make sure that you don't have a catless downpipe and secondary cat delete and a tune on your car before you buy it. Or do, if you're like me, it doesn't really matter. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for taking time out of your day and watching this video. I appreciate you, I love you, and I'll see you in the next one.